So the disc to digital, you're importing DVDs and Blu-rays. Can it import 4Ks?
No.
Well, so we're not importing movies. We're
Well, you're
just
cataloging your titles, yeah.
cataloging, right?
Yeah.
We can only do standard definition DVDs and Blu-ray discs. That the Blu-ray drives are not, we're not able to use 4K Blu-ray drives for that.
Okay. But you're upgrading to 4K, so
Right. You're going to take the movies that you own on whichever format that you own, and you can upgrade them. If we have it available in 4K, you can upgrade that and purchase the 4K version.
right.
And you
Okay.
also have the ability to just catalog, right? So if you have a huge movie library and it's going to be over, let's say $3,000 to kind of get your full library, you can also catalog, where it'll still show the cover art and the metadata on our system, and then you still get that discount later on. So if in 6 months I want to buy that version for $5, I can buy it 6 months from now. I still get that discount because I've shown ownership too. So
Yeah.
it's a
And
good thing.
a related thing to Matt's point is for a Kaleidescape, you don't have to be a super user, but people who've been working the system for a little while have come to know that every week there are new movies that go on sale based on specials that are provided by the different studios. And a lot of the stuff is keyed around different times of the year. So obviously now we're running all kinds of Halloween and thriller type movies. On May the 4th, the last couple of years, we've always put out the Star Wars series all on special pricing. And so if you have all your movies cataloged and you don't particularly need to watch all of them right away, it's great to keep them in the catalog and then keep track of, look at the notifications that come out every week and see what's on special. And then you'll find out when the stuff that you already wanted to get and you're already getting a discount, you'll get a better discount if it goes on TPR.
Can you explain to the folks that if they want to start off with an 8 terabyte drive and you happen to run out of space, but there's another movie that just came out that you want to pick up, can you delete movies off of that drive and re-download them at another time without losing them, without having to repurchase them? Can you do that?
Absolutely. Once you've purchased a movie from Kaleidescape, you own that movie, you own the license to play it. And if you delete the movie for a reason like Shane just mentioned, if you've got the server space that you have and you've filled it up, and now a great new movie just came out and you want to add that, and you don't have time to add a new server, then you can delete a movie, download another movie, and then when you do expand your server space, or if you decide to rearrange the movies on there and delete some other ones, you can always re-download the ones you've deleted. They stay in your library.
And that's the other big thing with us is you don't lose content, right? There are no expirations of we have you have the new Mission Impossible today, and then 6 months it goes out of window, and we don't have it. Once you buy it, you've purchased the rights to that item. So
Does Kaleidoscape offer extras, like extra features, commentary, stuff like that?
Absolutely. And so the special features that you would typically get with a disc set are included. Most of the time, the studio includes those with the HD version of the movie, and they're not included with the 4K version. So you would just download the HD version, and you'll get all the special features along with that as well.
So there's a version, there's usually three versions. There's the HD, the 4K, then the UH, then the HDR. Why is the HDR usually smaller than the 4K?
Both UHD and HDR are both 4K files. The difference is whether it's using standard dynamic range or high dynamic range, which is HDR. And we use UHD for the versions with standard dynamic range and Rec 709 color space. There's not usually a huge difference between the two file sizes, but sometimes the HDR one will be, might be smaller, and sometimes that's because there's a little bit more detail and granularity in the content that's provided by having the additional dynamic range, which allows you to have more colors, and so allows things to be represented in more clearly And any content that is more clearly defined is easier to compress, and so you can get few more bits of space out of it.
I've always wanted to know that. Okay. What is a mezzanine file? Where does it come from? How different is it from a mezzanine file that Apple might get, or that the Blu-ray presses might get, or Voodoo might get? Is it the same mezzanine file that's spread about all of these other companies? And are they adding their own compression to this mezzanine file, or are you getting a specific file? Or does every brand get their own specific mezzanine file? How does that work?
The studios put out one mezzanine file. This is, once they've finished producing the movie and doing all the editing and color correction and made it ready for home delivery, then they put together the final delivery package, which is what we call the mezzanine file. So it's got the highest bit rate version of a watchable video track, and all of the related audio tracks and whatever languages that they're distributing with that package, and subtitles and other content. And so that's the same package gets delivered to any of the resellers, whether it's the company that's going to stamp them onto discs and deliver them that way, or if it's a streaming company that's going to take it and deliver it over their streaming platform. So everybody's starting with the same file, and that we all just need to take that file and make it fit to work within the constraints of our delivery mechanism. And so, if you're a streamer, you need to compress that down to an average of 6 to 8 megabits per second. So down to a very small file, including the video and the audio, to get it through the various platform streaming pipelines. And if you're a disk, you're going to be constrained by the physical size of the disk. Typically, most major movies are being put out on a 66 gigabyte disk. And so that means you're taking this file and compressing it along with all the things on there. So you're going to have some special features, you're going to have some menus, some subtitles, all the audio tracks. And once you subtract that from the 66 gigabytes, then the rest of the space is what you have left to compress the disk and the movie into. For Kaleidescape, we're not encumbered by a physical constraint or a bandwidth constraint, except for the bandwidth constraint of the Blu-ray UHD Blu-ray format, which is a maximum of 100 megabits per second of the video across the video pathway. And so we can, if we need to apply more bits to scenes that are really detailed or very fast action, so that they're difficult to compress, we can do that to make sure that every frame of the film is visually lossless and looks perfect. And if the file comes out to be obviously more than 66 gigabytes, even if it comes out to be more than 100 gigabytes, which is beyond the size of the largest physical media you can get, we can still deliver that file. It's going to take a few more minutes to download, but once you have it, you're going to have a perfectly lossless, visually lossless representation of that movie.
The audio files compared to your standard UHD Blu-ray, is the audio exactly the same? Is it lossless? Is there any difference between the audio files?
Generally, it's not a difference, because the Blu-ray discs are able to provide the losslessly compressed DTSX and Dolby Atmos versions of the file. So the Dolby True HD and DTS HD formats are losslessly compressed, and so they're effectively equivalent.
Do you need to be connected to the internet in order for you to watch your collection of movies?
You do not. Once you've downloaded the movie onto your system, so you've got it on your Terra server, then the Terra server obviously needs to be networked to the Strato player, but they do not need to be connected to the internet to be able to play.